Hang
Oh,
on,
yeah, okay.
it's preparing.
Mine says live on YouTube. Is that Skip?
I heard a thing. There he is.
Oh, Daddy, I'm in a meeting.
All right,
It's not showing up on YouTube,
there it is. Showing online now,
on your YouTube?
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
but it doesn't show. Oh, there we go. Skip's coming in now. There we go. Okay, I think we're good. You can
All
start.
right. Skip, are you in?
Skip, we lost you. Skip is, maybe he did that.
Did what?
Is there he goes.
I'm in.
All right. All right, the time's 6:02 and I call the April 14th meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order. This meeting is being recorded and it's live on YouTube right now. So that's complying and it'll be posted on the town website within 7 days, the video. So we're gonna sadly skip the pledge because I forgot to make sure everyone had a flag. We'll have to get little flags for next time so we can say the pledge. We'll move to, I would like to add something to the agenda though, as a new, to add under new business for a precious metal buying licensing. Precious metal buying licensing.
So we're going to be issuing licenses for buying precious metals?
We're going to discuss it. I want to add it to the agenda.
We need a motion. We
I'll
can't hear
make
you,
that
Skip.
motion, Ronnie.
Okay. So the motion's been
Ronnie,
made.
I will make that motion.
Okay, Ron's going to make the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Can't hear
No,
you,
you
Skip.
can't.
Skip, we can't hear you.
You're on mute. Skip.
Only the selectmen can second his own.
But
Gotcha.
thanks, that would have been handy. We lost Skip.
I can't hear you. Technical difficulties.
Where are you? You second it? Okay, I think that means he, all right, he's seconding. So the motion's been made and seconded to add precious metal buying licensing to the agenda. So we're going to move on to approval of minutes.
All in
this-
favor?
This is,
Wait a minute.
all in favor, sorry. All in favor to add that to the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, hearing none. It'll be added under new business. All right, so now to approval of the minutes, and these are the minutes from our last meeting, which was March 10th.
I cannot make a motion or second it because I did not read the minutes.
Okay,
You want to make a
Put it
motion?
till the
and-
end.
Oh, we lost Skip again. Skip, do you want to call in? You want to call in?
yep, very good.
Are you there, Skip? I don't hear him. Oh, he's gone again.
He's the most tech person.
That's what I was gonna say. He's our IT person. Are you in yet?
How about now?
All right, there
now
you
you're
go.
good.
Okay.
You're
Yeah,
our
I tried-
IT person, Skip.
I know. I swapped to internet audio rather than call back on my cell, and I think that was the problem. So I make a motion that we approve the minutes as written.
Okay. And I'll second. So the motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes as written. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so the minutes are approved. All right, so board and committee reports. I'll just give an update on Public Works. So Public Works, the garage is ongoing. It should be done by the end of the month, hopefully. The guys have been working regular schedule still. So they've been working on a Campbell Mill by the Gillo farm. They replaced, they put reinforcement on the bank over there to stop the road from falling in. They worked on that. They have been working, starting today, working on cleaning out the pipes on Shetucket Turnpike. So, because what we decided was before we do any paving, not Shetucket Turnpike, Wiley School, like on the, from Wiley School, from Shetucket Turnpike to Forge Hill. To look at the piping there is over 100 years old. So they're currently working with a contractor to clean the pipes out so we can inspect them to see if before we pave the road, we're gonna replace the piping. So they started on that this week. We
Have we already started the bid process just to get quotes
for the paving.
for the pipes if we need to replace them, or are we gonna wait
Yeah,
and see?
no, we haven't. We're waiting to see exactly how many we're gonna have to replace.
Okay,
Yeah, that's what they're starting with that first to figure out how many we're gonna have to replace, and then we'll go out from there. So, and that's, oh, the storm cleanup. They worked overtime yesterday to make sure the roads were clear for storm cleanup.
so Tracy, I know you've got power back. Julie, do you
Yeah.
have power back? Or are you still
I-
on generator?
I just got it back about 15 minutes ago,
Nice.
just in time for the meeting.
Yep. So, I gotta check and see. I might have a citizen's comment and I skipped right over it. Hold on one second.
Do we have anyone in besides Giselle?
No,
There might be people watching on YouTube, but Giselle's our
Okay.
guest today.
3 people are watching.
Ah, where'd you go? I'm having technical difficulties.
Are you trying to get to the YouTube stream?
No, I somehow made it so that oh, I'm in minimized. Okay, I got it. Everyone was really little in the corner of my screen. So we did that correspondence and announcements.
You don't have any citizens' comments?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't really have any correspondence and announcements. So we don't have any old business. So we'll go on to new business, National Day of Prayer proclamation. So every year we do the National Day of Prayer in Voluntown. This year I talked to Mr. Arndt, and they want to do it partially remotely, partially in person at the Voluntown Baptist Church. They asked who of this Board of Selectmen would like to participate and how they would like to do it, it's up to them. But usually the first selectman reads the proclamation from Voluntown. And then they asked if any of the other selectmen wanted to participate. They could either videotape themselves reading something, or they can read it at the church. And that's going to be on May 7th, which is a Thursday. So you can think about what, if you want to do it or not, and just let me or Julie know, and I'll let him know. I'm going to do the proclamation, and I'll probably go to the church to do it. So. But usually they have readings. So they have a bunch of people do different readings. And again, you can do it by video or in person. So. But we have the proclamation that we can pass it and sign it. So I'll read it. Office of the Selectmen proclamation. Whereas the National Day of Prayer is a tradition first proclaimed by the Continental Congress in 1775. And whereas in 1988, legislation was unanimously ratified by both houses of Congress and signed by President Ronald Reagan, stating that the National Day of Prayer was to be observed on the first Thursday of every May. President William J. Clinton again proclaimed this on May 1st, 1997. Now therefore, we, the Board of Selectmen of the Town of Voluntown, do hereby proclaim May 7th, 2020 as a day of prayer in Voluntown. Throughout the Town of Voluntown, we urge all citizens to observe this day in ways appropriate to its importance and significance. So, just need a
I make a
motion.
motion that we accept the proclamation.
Okay, motion's been made to accept the Day of Prayer proclamation. Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
Okay, so motion's been made and seconded to accept the proclamation. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, hearing none. The proclamation has been approved, making May 7th a day of prayer in Voluntown. Thank you. All right, next on the agenda, we have tax status. This is why we have Giselle, our tax collector, here to help explain this for you guys and for me, because things seem to have been changing on this. I'll give a brief description of it, and then we'll let Giselle explain too. Governor Lamont passed an executive order 7S that gave the boards of selectmen or the towns to decide on ways to help our residents with their taxes this year, considering that there's people that are unemployed. So by April 25th, each town has to decide if they're going to do, there's two options. You can do one or both. So the options are a tax deferral, and the other option is a low interest rate for late fees. Is that it, Giselle? And
Go
yeah. And so so we have to have a decision into OPM by May 25th. And then the other
April 25th.
Oh, sorry, yeah, April 25th. And then the other part of it is we have to have our budget passed before the end of June in order for this to be valid for our residents. So one of the other executive orders that the governor passed was a way for towns to pass their budget without having a town meeting. And I'm still working with our attorney to figure out how we can do this in the best way to get residents and input and involvement, because I think it would be beneficial to have these options for our residents But in order to do that, we have to pass the budget before June 30th. I want to stay on our schedule for our budget, which would give us if we did a town meeting, would be on, I'm trying to find my notes. I didn't have Julie put them in order for me today. That would be, the budget meeting would be on May 19th. So where another executive order that the governor did was that we're still in like quarantine until May 20th. So either way, if we can change the date of the meeting, but we would still be in the best interest to have it till June. But I'll let Giselle explain the two options and which one works best for our town. So go ahead, Giselle.
Okay, so I submitted something to the Board of Selectmen of what my suggestion was. For most of the tax collectors that I spoke with throughout the state, many of them are going with the deferment without application. Because one of the things with the deferment program is they said that you can elect to have an application process, which I think would probably cause a lot of issues with the taxpayers. For one, you have to fill out the application. You have to prove that you're a citizen of the town. You have to attest that you have lost 20% of your income. I feel like the people in town that can pay will pay. And I feel like the ones that are working, say at the casinos or restaurants, if they have the ability to have 90 days to catch up once the social distancing is lifted, then they will pay. They have to get to work. You know, they're going to have to register their cars. So I feel like a lower interest for that, just that little window, is not going to help someone that doesn't have anything, period. You know, they're trying to buy food at this point. Taxes are on the back burner. So I don't feel that giving them a lower interest is going to make any difference to them, because they either have the money or they don't. The deferment gives them 3 months to get back to functioning. The tax assessor is on the same page with me. He believes that Windham County is going to do the same option. It's obviously going to be a hit to the town. Either one would be a hit to the town, but you know, everyone is getting hit right now. So I think giving people 3 months to get back to normal is a wise decision. And the other thing is that the escrow companies, the mortgages that are in escrow, they are not eligible for this. And 75% of our real estate comes from escrow companies. So we will still be getting those escrow payments. The people that pay directly, most of them will, you know, a lot of them are older or on pensions, and a lot of them will continue to pay. So I don't think it's going to, which is obviously the lion's share of our taxes, is real estate. I don't think it's going to greatly impact real estate, because there aren't a ton of people that pay directly that are out working hourly and been adversely affected by, you know, the coronavirus. I'm sure there are some. I'm not saying there's not, you know, people that are, but a lion's share of the people that pay directly are obviously people that have paid off their mortgages. They're financially stable. They're retired. So I think probably the deferment would mostly help people that have, you know, motor vehicle car taxes. And when they get back on their feet, they're going to have to get to work. They're going to pay their taxes so they can register their cars once the registration process, that's also extended. So that will come back into play. So I just feel like this is honestly the nicest thing we can do for our residents, is to give them 3 months to just get their lives back in order. I've not heard of one town that's doing both, because obviously that would be a massive fiscal hit to the town. So I have literally not heard of one town. They're either selecting one or the other. And from most that I've spoken to, they prefer the deferment program because it's clean. without the application process. You don't have hundreds of people scrambling to come into the office right after we lifted social distancing, trying to give us paperwork, mail-in paperwork. And the other important thing, which I mentioned to Tracy, is if you have your taxes deferred, which will, the people that can pay, please do pay because it will support the town. If you elect to have that deferment because you've been under hardship, if you do not pay by October 1st, the interest goes back to July 1st. So this is something that the state did so that, you have that 90 days, but then if you do not pay by that October 1st extension, the interest goes all the way back to July 1st. So if it is someone that can pay, you should pay because you don't want to get stuck and miss it. And then you have the interest going all the way back to July 1st. So that is something important that people need to pay attention to. But yeah, like I said, I feel like this is the kindest thing that we can do for people because, a lot of people are trying to get food right now, never mind worry about bills. So if you have any questions, I can try to answer them. The interest rate one is very complex. It's, it was, and they changed the wording on it. He originally said March 10th, but now it's April 1st. It's basically taxes that are due now and including July 1st. But besides, the second installment of people are still paying on personal property, but there really are not any bills due right now. We're not a quarterly town, so it's not really helping very many people right now. So I think that's about it. Just that you have to pay attention to the interest because it will go back to the original due date and the escrow companies are not eligible. So I think that's about it.
Yep. Thank you.
I've got a couple of questions for Giselle.
Yep.
Sure.
So you said 75% of the real estate tax is coming from escrow companies. So that will continue coming in as expected. The other 25% is people who are paid off their mortgages and they are probably in a better position to be able to pay than most. So real estate tax isn't going to be impacted. How much are we talking about with personal property, cars, boats, those sorts of things? How much are we talking about when you say a hit to the town?
Either one is going to be a hit. But I honestly feel like these people are, they're not going to be able to pay, period. So.
Oh, I understand. And trust
You know
me,
what
I
I
get
mean?
it. And I completely, I'm going to vote for your recommendation. Let me state that. I'm full for it. I'm just but we as a board need to figure out, what we're going to have to do. So I just want to make sure we understand what the impact to the town will be by doing this.
Right. Again, you have a population that pays early, pays on time, they have the ability because, just if they're essential workers or if they're retired, they are going to pay their car bills. They are going to pay their personal property. The people that can't, I can't give an exact number, but you're talking the first installment of personal property, which is, I'd have to get numbers for you, but generally, say if it's on a camper, it's usually like $100, $150 if they, if it's a decent camper. And then the cars, are all over the place, but averaging, I would say 100, 150 for the cars. So it is going to be a hit, but it's not going to be the extent of if real estate was involved. I'm just trying to think of, I'd have to look at the books as far as, what comes in normally for cars. Cars, they come in throughout the year. You have the lion's share that pays on time in July, and then they trickle in as people register. So, I think cars come in throughout the year, so that won't change as much, because you still have people that pay 3 months late. It's just now they have 3 months that they are allowed to pay late. But I'll have to get you figures, roughly what came in for those months last year, just so we have a number.
Right. And that's what I think we need for doing some of our forecasting for the budget. How
Right,
much of a hit it's going to
absolutely.
be and what we've got to adjust for those couple of months, assuming that people are able to pay at the end of that 90 days.
Right.
For the deferment. So, but that's a whole other conversation.
Right,
Yeah.
no, that, we definitely have to look at that, absolutely, because you know what, even if we base it on what came in last year, that will be a difference, obviously.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
that was all I had.
So because you, Skip and Ron are getting this information today, I emailed you some information also about the, from CCM. With that gives a little more detail about both options as well. And Ron, Julie was gonna print them out and leave them for you to read as well. So I wasn't planning on making the decision today, since you're just getting the information. I would like to have a special meeting next Tuesday to go over what we decide. Like Giselle, I'm also leaning towards the first option, which is the deferment of 90 days. So, but you guys are just getting the information, so I want you to read it all and be sure of what you agree as well. So,
Understood, Tracy. I was reading this in the background as we were talking about it, so, but
Yeah.
no, special meeting next week. Got it.
yeah, okay. Ron, you still there?
Oh, yeah, I'm still here.
Okay,
I'm listening.
all right.
That's fine. Next
Okay.
week's fine.
Okay. All right, so any other questions about the tax status on the agenda?
Nope.
Okay, so once I find where I put my agenda, we'll move on. Next is the budget for next year. So, like, the COVID-19 is really gonna be difficult with the budget for next year. Like Giselle was saying, and with like what we touched on with the reason why we have the options of the tax statuses is we don't really know how much money, once we have our budget set and done, how much money we're gonna get, because it all comes down to if people can pay. That's what most of our money to run the town is coming from, our residents paying the taxes. So we have to keep that in mind when we are going through our budget. So I am going to, oops. Julie emailed a copy of the budget that we are looking at for next year. Now I'm trying to find it. Okay. So what we've been considering is the budget that we're looking at right now between the town budget and between the Board of Ed budget that they submitted last month. We're looking at a 0.3 increase. The increase is about for the Board of Selectmen is $52,398. This is with the Board of Ed increase at $63,526. We remember we have the ECS funding cut to our revenue of about $90,000. So what we have an increase on the town side is we have a public works, another public works full-time employee, and we have the lease for the new larger snow plow. So what we would like to suggest is to we would have a no cost of living increase for town employees. except for our union, the Public Works, because they're union, and it's in their contract. We would pay off the smaller snowplow lease with our undesignated fund. And we would start with that. And that would give us the 0.3 increase. An option would be to use the money of that increase, which is about $213,000, to use that from the undesignated fund so that we have no increase for our residents. So that's something that we're thinking about.
If we did that, what percentage would that bring the undesignated fund down to?
Well, we have, that's a Julie answer question. But we have in order to be in our limit of our, that we want to be in our undesignated fund, we have $400,000 that we can work with. So
Now I bring it to 12%.
and that would bring it to 12%. So
Okay.
we'd have the $213,000 to cover the 0.3 increase. And we would have the money to cover, buy out the lease on the snowplow. So that's just something to think about.
But the thing is, you got to worry about next year, because that increase will show up again next year.
Right,
So it'll make the mill rate even higher
next year.
next year. So it kind of just defers the payment on the mill rate for a year.
Yeah,
by
Yeah,
us paying it.
but I think 2020 is, to be blunt, this is good. This is a crap year. It's going to, in total, we're going to consider this a crap year. So I think anything we can do to help the taxpayers this year, even if it means deferring it to next year, is a step in the right direction.
yeah. So that's where we are with that. And like I said earlier too, we have the governor with one of his executive orders, and I'm still working with exactly how this is gonna be done in a way that's fair to the residents, because originally I talked to Adam about it too, and when they first put the COVID-19 social distancing down, we figured we would just wait and have our budget meeting after it was over. We've passed a budget in December before, so we could wait until September when it was fine to have the meeting and pass the budget. However, in order to have the tax status option for our residents with the deferment, we have to have the budget passed by June 30th for that option to be valid. I've asked if we could hold out, and the answer I got was there's no reason to hold out because the governor gave us the ability to pass the budget without the town meeting. So their rationale is there's no reason to not do it. So.
And if I could say something, Trace,
Yeah.
that is the same answer that I've gotten from OPM. It's like they don't want to say it out loud, but they're basically saying these tax relief programs are contingent on your Board of Selectmen passing a budget. You've been given the authority to do so. So people need to understand that there's no definitive answer of if the budget gets prolonged and delayed, there's no definitive answer that we can offer them these programs. So I think it is very important that we pass a budget so we can do this deferment.
So there is a way we can change like the date we have right now for the budget. What did I say, May 19th?
May 19th.
We can change it till June in the hopes that maybe we will be able to have a town meeting in June. But we would have to proceed also knowing that we might not be able to have a town meeting in June and have everything in place to be able to pass it without a town meeting. But there's still requirements for that. I believe there is some sort of a public hearing, and I think it also requires us meeting with the Board of Ed to work out with their budget as well. I'm gonna be talking and going through, I've never gotten so many emails in my life as I've had since this COVID-19. I must get like 100 a day, and it's hard to working from home to print everything out like I would if I was in the office. So I have to find all of the documents that came in for passing for the budget stuff. Hopefully I can have some of that ready for soon to go through all that, and we'll start that because we need to we have on our schedule the public hearing on our schedule that we put together before was May 5th. So we should be ready to have some sort of public meeting by the end of May, I would think. So I don't know if you guys have any comments or anything.
We've had them in June before,
Yeah.
and like you say, that going back a lot of years, but you see how things work out.
Yep.
Like you say, have it ready, and then we'll go from there.
Right.
I think the public hearing too, don't you have to make sure you have it out there and people have a chance to comment on it through email or whatever way you decide?
Yeah,
Has to
there is
be
a way
given.
for the public hearing part. There is a way for the public to respond to what we propose when we get our budget together. So there is still a way for them to participate. So
Is that via email or is there?
it would be via email.
Okay.
So. And there are some other options out there too. I got to go through and look at them, and we can discuss them in the future. So either when we do the agenda for the special meeting next week, I don't know if I'll have everything together by then, but could probably start getting material ready for you. So.
Well, okay. I think email, anything more complex than email is probably going to limit the
Right.
Amount of participation. I think even email is going to limit participation, but in this unusual situation we're in, I think email is probably the least complex solution.
Right.
Even not knowing anything else that you're looking at, I'm going
Right.
to say email is probably our path forward for comments.
Sounds good. Any other questions about the budget?
Nope.
Okay. Next on the agenda is FEMA. So we have the option to apply for FEMA funding for the COVID-19. We started the first steps of being ready to do that by filing with FEMA. We have to keep track of everything that we spend on the town and also with the fire department that's not in the budget for the COVID-19 response. There's some things that right now we're just keeping track of everything, but there's some things that still might not be covered, such as the technology stuff. As far as the school goes, there is separate funding available for them to apply for any of the technology that they went above and beyond their budget to acquire for the COVID-19. for us, we did have to get a couple of laptops to work from home. There's some programs that we had to purchase to comply with the meeting requirements. So we're just keeping track of everything and hoping that we'll be able to claim those as well. So
And supplies for wipes and gloves and that kind of stuff.
yeah, the supplies, and with the fire department, there's cleaning supplies and also the PPE that they needed, so, or that they were able to get. So, and it also covers for unemployment. I can move right into the town response to the COVID-19. We've had to, the only employees that we put into unemployment were the part-time library workers. Emily, the library director, is still working, but the other library employees were laid off. So every other employee is still working. We're working from home as much as possible and going into the office at least once a week to do things that people need to be in the office for, but we're doing it in a way where people are staggered being there, so not everyone's there at the same time. It seems like it's been so long since this started, but it's been like a month. We opened our emergency management for the town about a month ago to be in anticipation of the funding for FEMA as well too. So we've been following the guidelines for our emergency management plan. We have, for the parks and the playgrounds, we've closed the playgrounds at the suggestion of Uncas Health, because we can't clean them all. And we are, the state police are driving through to make sure that there's social distancing going on too. So I've been on phone conferences at least once a week, sometime twice, with the governor and commissioners to go over the response for the COVID-19 and to go over all these executive orders that keep getting passed. It's just been insane trying to keep up with all the changes that have been going on. So I don't know if you guys have any. There's been so much going on in the past month. I've started on the town website under the Board of Selectmen. There's a page for COVID response, and that contains like every day that the governor has done something or that as the town we have done something. It's listed on that page, so people can go there for information. So I don't know if you guys have questions about anything.
No, I just have a comment. Tracy, you've been doing a great job. As you just
Thank you.
described, you were the focus of Voluntown's COVID-19 response. So good job.
Thank you. It's definitely been, I don't know, it's been so surreal. So, but everything is moving quickly, it seems. So.
Yeah.
Ron, you're awfully quiet today.
Oh, I just would have said that you first, and then all the ladies in the town hall and the library have been busting your butts and doing an excellent job. I appreciate it very much, and I'm sure the town does too.
No, it's great that everyone in the town hall has been able to go above and beyond to still be there for the residents when the residents call or email. Everyone's able to respond almost immediately. So it's been great.
And one other thing, I think I've been in about 18 years now, and there has never been anything that even comes close to what you're going through right now. So, I mean,
Right.
people have to understand that this is above and beyond. Oh, keep going. It's all we can do.
Yep. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think Ronnie's being quiet because we don't have a camera for him. So Ronnie, we're gonna work on getting you a camera for these meetings.
No, I could have had a camera, don't worry, but then I had to clean my kitchen. So, no, I'm not going to do that.
All right. So the next thing on the agenda that I added was precious metal buyer licensing. This is because we've had a prospective business that has requested a license for buying precious metals and stones. So this is at the what they would do is they would buy the old jewelry or stuff from people, and then they would take that and they would melt it down or have it melted down. So it's honestly something I'd never heard of before. So and the fact that there was licensing and everything included, I contacted our attorney and was told that there's a statute, state statute, General Statutes 28-17, that gives the chief of police or the first selectman the authority to give licensing for businesses that purchase precious metals and stones. We don't have anything like this in place right now. It's something that I would feel that we would need an ordinance for to give like the steps and the policy of how everything would go with this. The attorney actually found one from the town of Hebron. Just talks about the licensing, the process. It does include like fingerprints and record keeping. And there's even like licensing fees, and it's a whole like process. So I had the attorney sent me the town of Hebron ordinance, and they sent me the application process from the town of Old Saybrook. So I was going to pass those on to you guys to review and see if it was something that you thought we should follow similarly to. I let the person know who was inquiring about this, that it would be something we'd probably have to do an ordinance for if we decided to do that as the board. And they told me that they had contacted the state police, and the state police had said that they can issue the license. So now I'm just confused because that's not what I was told by the attorney. So I'd have to go back and find out who has the authority, if it is the state police or if it is the town, because the statute says the chief of police or the first selectman. So I'd have to.
Well, this sounds like this falls into the same category as issuing gun permits. It's
Yes,
supposed to be the chief of police or the first selectman.
right,
So-
which brings it back to the town. So that's
Yeah.
what I think as well. So I brought it today to see if we want to proceed with an ordinance. If that's what we need to do, I'll double check back with the attorney and see what they think about the new branch of it now that the state police saying they can do it, because I'm not really clear that's what it says in the ordinance. if it's something we want to move forward with, I will give you, I can, even if you're unsure right now, I can forward you all the information and you can review it. So this is just a first time I'm giving this information to you, and then we can talk about it again at the special meeting.
Can we do that at a special meeting? I thought the special meeting had a locked agenda just for the one topic we were having the meeting for.
Yeah, we haven't made the agenda yet, so
Okay, fair enough.
whatever we want to put on that agenda is all we can talk
Oh, that's
about.
right. That's right. We can't add anything to the agenda. Okay,
We can't
got
add
it.
anything, but once the agenda comes out, we can talk about anything that's on it, so.
Okay.
So that's an option too. But I know that the business would like to get moving quickly on it, and I was like, I feel bad that it's an ordinance and you can't really move that quickly with that, so I would share it if that's what we choose to do. I would share it today, and at least it's the first discussion of it, so.
Has the governor come out with any way to pass ordinances in this time, or is that something they're still working on? I didn't think they had
I
that figured
think
out
that-
yet.
I think that there was something about that and all that town meeting stuff that I haven't, that I have to compile.
I thought that was something they were still trying to.
Yeah, that might be too. I printed something out and now I have to find it. Where is it? Right here. The stuff that they've done so far are, oh, that's appropriation stuff. So yeah, I don't know if they did ordinance stuff yet. I have to find out. Yeah, something more to look into, so. But all right, other than that, I don't know if you guys have any questions about anything or comments before we adjourn.
I have nothing.
Ronnie, would you like to make the motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thanks, guys. I wasn't that bad, was it?
No, you did excellent. You did, it worked out very good.
I feel like I'm talking to myself. I don't know why.
You just need, now you've got to figure out how to do the virtual Julie so that all your papers are all lined up and ready for the meeting.
I'll share my screen. How's that? My screen will be the paperwork screen.
Yeah. All right, thanks, guys. And we'll do a special meeting next Tuesday, so we'll get the
Sounds good.
information on it. All right.
Have a good
All
night,
right.
everyone.
Bye.
Good night. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Giselle. Good
Bye.
night.